Okay, back for another live. Thank you for anyone who catches me on here and tunes into this. Um, oh Christ, I'm a little crooked. Ah, fuck it. So thanks to anyone who's listening. Um, yeah, I guess just doing one of my mental health videos here, just to get the pressure off. So I woke up this Sunday morning. What the hell's today? It's the 14th of July. Yeah, I think it's Bastille Day. Um, I don't, you know, I know a lot of people who check the news every few minutes. But whoops. Okay, we're still rolling. So, um, yeah, I'm not on top of the news. So I woke up this morning and yesterday at a Trump rally, somebody tried to shoot Donald Trump. And not surprised, and if you are in any way surprised or emotionally reacting to this, my question to you is where the hell have you been for the last 10 years, the last 20 years? This is how empires fall. This is what it looks like when your empire falls. And I suppose I have to be careful about how I phrase things on here, because anything that goes against the news networks is, automatically, fucking Russian disinformation or whatever, because I think I'm bound and determined to get this thing level. Um, and it is not working. Anyway, it's definitely, it's soothing for the baby boom as a group to be once again hearing about the Russians and the threat of the Russians and all this shit. Because that was the first generation to be raised in front of a television. There was a television on when they came home from the hospital as newborns, and now that they're going to retirement homes and getting dementia, they're parked in front of a television just like when they were kids. So it's soothing, and people have always demonized each other, but for the last 75, 80 years, it's like that's been to me the all-American pastime is just talking shit about somebody you don't like and demonizing them. So the point is, yeah, of course this is going on. I don't know how anybody's surprised or dramatic about this. So yeah, this is what it looks like when empires fall apart, and everyone wants to talk about, the dumb down of America and the Western world and all this shit. Well, the television's the dumb down. The American dream's the dumb down. All the drugs and alcohol, dumb downs. Um, we really have no adults in the population in America, Western Europe, Canada, the English speaking world in Western Europe. Um, the elders have been gone for 20, 25 years. So this is what it looks like when it all comes apart. So, you know, everyone caught this ahead of me pretty much, but, the narrative is that what the hell's his name? Thomas Matthew Crooks, 20-year-old, 21-year-old out in Western Pennsylvania. There was a Trump rally on a farm. He allegedly staged himself in a sniper's nest on top of a nearby factory about 150 meters away. So this is 450 to 500 feet because a meter is about 3 inches longer than a yard, so they add up. What's interesting about the 150 meters, that's the standard rifle range at basic training. When you join the military, you've got to hit a human-sized target. It's like a silhouette of a human from 150 meters. That's kind of the standard, it's a standard range. So I see that and I'm like, interesting, interesting placement with that. But whatever. It doesn't prove anything. Um, so there's that, and then the thing with this kid, with this Thomas Matthew Crooks, it's funny. He's got the three name assassin name: Lee Harvey Oswald, um, Robert David Chapman. Was it what's Can't remember the MLK shooter. It's Earl. Shit. Can't remember. When you look up assassins, it's a funny thing. They have these three names. They use three names, rather than a name like Joseph Biden, Donald Trump. You've got Robert Thomas Crooks, John Wilkes Booth. It's just, I don't know. Media just presents it that way. So you've got, and this kid, this would-be assassin. If I didn't know better, it's almost like it's engineered so the media will be sympathizing with this kid and getting the population who doesn't like Mr. Trumpy to sympathize with him, because the narrative, he's like a little nerdy looking kid. He kind of looks like Elizabeth Warren, incidentally. But the narrative is, oh, he was a quiet, shy kid who was bullied in school every day. So it's like, in the ongoing oppression Olympics, the bullied kid is like one of the front runners for the gold medal in the oppression Olympics. So it's like, if it's like a military veteran, who took a shot at this guy, then it's like the radical left is like, oh well, fuck him. He's a white male. He's a veteran. He has a pair of balls. Fuck him. But when it's the little nerdy kid, it makes the American population, especially the far left, go, oh, the poor little bullied kid. So very interesting how this whole thing's presented. Do I think it's possible that a 20-year-old just, who's got nothing better to do, just thought this whole fucking plot up? But people, when these things are really examined, people don't do these things acting alone. It's just, it's never stood up to the test of history and the test of investigation. This whole lone gunman thing, especially when they're going after a president, or a presidential candidate or some head of government, head of state. So, it's always very fishy. So what do I call this so the algorithm doesn't pick it up? I guess I can say MK Ultra if I don't specify exactly what that is. If you're not familiar with MK Ultra, just imagine a combination of hypnosis and torture. So it's like a stage magician hypnotist can't get somebody to harm someone, to do something harmful to themselves, but you throw torture in the mix, you open up a lot of possibilities in the realm of hypnosis. So, in the 70s, it was established by a Senate hearing, the Church Committee. The Church Committee hearings that Central Intelligence had been doing this kind of shit and doing the research in different sleep labs in different hospitals to create fucking Manchurian candidates. So this is always a factor in play when you see something like this. And, when you add in how so many of these like radical left-wing celebrities have been calling for an assassination of Donald Trump for the last almost 10 years, it's like, well, the television's been telling somebody to do it. So there is that. And then the other thing here too is, like so many of these lone gunmen, he's a middle-class kid. So where this took place, so Bethel Park, Pennsylvania, where the would-be assassination, the attempted assassination took place. This is in western Pennsylvania. It's near the border with Ohio. It's west of Pittsburgh. This is a pocket of this region. It's Appalachia. It's a pocket of rural poverty. It's just like going to West Virginia, Alabama, Tennessee, just that whole Kentucky, that whole Appalachian change. Just because Pennsylvania is very democratic doesn't mean that this isn't a poor area. Um, so the point is, in this poor area, actually, the town this kid came from, the median income is $100,000, which is a lot of fucking money in a place like that. So he's a middle class kid. So that's what you see from these lone gunmen, is they tend to be middle class kids. Now, one thing about this is I think they tend to be the most distracted parents. And during these Senate investigations on MK Ultra and things like that, there were doctors and psychiatrists who were co-opted into the CIA program, who were using this tortuous this combination of torture, hypnotic suggestion, and hypnosis. So the kids you'd want to do that to, since the 1950s, are middle class kids, because the parents are very wrapped up in their own images and they're very distracted about their appearances. More blue collar people, they don't get so wrapped up in their appearances because they don't have the money to look fabulous. And I always call the middle class royalty on a budget, because it's all the vanity of royals, but on a budget. They don't have the money to spend, but they've got enough money to spend to be dangerous and distracted. So that's a dynamic here. I think, just based on what I've learned in my life, what I've been witness to in some cases, what I've experienced, there's always a hidden hand at play with events like this. And I think, and I think all politics is bullshit and it absolutely sucks. And none of these politicians care about you. I think people have to be full of themselves to think that these politicians actually care about them. But anyway, the Democratic Party is so desperate right now. Half of them are telling Joe Biden to step down. Half of them are saying, no, he's fine. He doesn't have dementia, which he clearly has for years. They're desperate. So, yeah, I think the establishment is trying to bump off Donald Trump. One of the possibilities I can't rule out too, that I find like kind of the most mind-bending and interesting, especially as an aspiring fiction writer. What if Trump's own handlers like hired this would-be assassin, to shoot to wound but not shoot to kill? Because the thing about this is Donald Trump is basically a living martyr at this point. So he survived his own assassination attempt. So this is great publicity for him. This is not going to hurt him. Now, I think it's the less plausible scenario that Trump's own corporate sponsors and handlers hired somebody to shoot at him but not kill him. But, possible, but not the most plausible. I think it's the establishment who is primarily backing Joe Biden at this point. So this is great publicity for him. He's just going to get more popular because, like I said, he's a living martyr. He survived his own hanging. He survived his own execution. So this is going to make Donald Trump like even more popular in the hood. That's one of the things that the Democratic Party's up against, is that Trump has a record amount of support from the Black American population. And a lot of even famous people, like rappers have come out and they're like, well, he's getting a lot of support because he's getting screwed with by the legal system, aka the justice system. And now he's being shot at, and a lot of people in the hood are like, well, cops are shooting at us, so this guy's one of us. A lot of rappers have been saying this. So, just a lot of black folks in general who have YouTube channels, who go on social media. They're like, yeah, he's getting fucked with the same way we do, by the system, by the establishment. So, but you know what you have to take into account here is whoever put this hit on him is probably going to keep trying. So I don't think he's going to die from this though. When you look at his astrology, especially, you know, he's got Mars in there now. You know, Mars can bring harm to you, can make you the target of aggression, but it gives you energy. So he's got Mars in his 10th house of his career. So I think this is gasoline on his fire, but you know, anything can happen. Um, we'll see what happens. You know, what is it? He's got, well, you know, the next eclipse is in what? Virgo. So in a sidereal chart, it's in his second house. Um, so yeah, not a lot of dangers there. I think what that's going to do is that's going to, you know, so that eclipse comes in October. I think he's going to be dropping truth bombs, whether you love him or hate him. He's going to be saying things that, you know, it's going to be like in the debates back in 2016 when he was like, this whole system's rigged. And they were like, why are you saying that the tax system's rigged, Mr. Trump? He's like, because I use it. I use it to not pay taxes. You know, he's going to be dropping bombs like this because your second house, it's your speech, you know, of many things. Stands for different things, but it's your speech. It's going to be a K2 eclipse. K2 is, you know, it's like the headless horseman. It's just pure spirituality, no illusions. So he's going to be dropping truth bombs. I think this is a burlesque. It's a giant fucking burlesque show. This is just about getting people fucking titillated, you know, and excited. You know, the thing I'd leave you with here is don't feed this energy, whether you hate this guy or love this guy, because it's just to get you all emotional and to drain your energy. And something you're going to be seeing from this is you're going to be seeing needlecraft side effects going fucking crazy from now to the election and through the election, because the media has put a hex on him. And back in 2015, they started convincing people that it was a good idea to hex him. So to wish death, imprisonment, poverty, and sickness on this guy. Well, if you hex somebody who hasn't directly harmed you, the hex just bounces back. That malicious intent stays in your body and makes you sick. So people are going to be falling for this. You know, I think this is why the needlecraft came, because it was the result of a backfired hex. So most of the people who got the needlecraft and the boosts absolutely hate this guy, and they've been wishing for his death, poverty, sickness, and imprisonment. So don't feed it. Even if you think he's your fucking messiah with your salvation, don't feed it. You know, and that's the last thing I want to talk about here is this whole messiah salvation thing. Absolutely fucking toxic. If you're looking for somebody outside of you to save you, it's like you're abdicating. You're copping out. You're just giving all your responsibility to someone else, whether that messiah is, you know, fucking on earth, or it's some spiritual being. It's like, or it's some spiritual being who once walked the earth. You're giving up your fucking responsibility. Only you can save yourself. You know, this whole idea that some messiah is going to come and give you your salvation, that's to make you weak and powerless. So yeah, enjoy the show. I'm going to wrap it up. Thanks for tuning in.